So really, really excited to be here. We have a very, very exciting event happening starting on Friday, right? Philly Tech Week. And I came up with the idea for this event because I was looking online and I saw these events and I was like, how is anybody gonna figure out all these events? And does anybody even know about all these events? So that's why I put this meetup together. So I founded this meetup. Again, my name is Michael Bertoni. I'm the founder and CTO of Philly Tech. Really excited to have everybody here. Wanted to just give a quick shout out to WeWork. So Steve, if you want to come up here real quick. So WeWork is awesome. I work here, and they are giving this space to members for free to use, as well as the beer. Free beer, free space, right? So, and I think everybody's heard of WeWork, but I want to introduce you to Steve, and Steve's going to say a few words, and then we'll get started.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Hey, everyone. My name is Steve. I work on the community team here at 1601 Market. Just want to welcome everyone here to our space, and thank Mike for putting this all together. For those who aren't familiar with WeWork, we're a global co-working space. We have 4 locations in Philadelphia, and more importantly, we serve about 2,500 members in this city. So, as Mike alluded to, we always encourage folks to use WeWork as a marketing tool, and just as a tool to sort of raise awareness for their brand, essentially, which Mike has done tonight. So, if anyone has any questions on WeWork, I'll be right in the back there.
We're back. This is Michael Bertoni, founder and CTO at Philly Tech. Just really, really excited to be here for the Philly Tech Week pre-launch party, and I am here with Michael Pushkar. He is the co-founder and chief data scientist for Source Meridian. So it's great to see you, Mike.
Nice to see you too.
Yes.
Thanks for putting this together.
No problem. No problem at all. So really, really exciting business that you're in, Mike, around data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, really, really exciting field. Tell the audience what it actually is. What is data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence? Let's start with basics.
Okay. Well, in today's age, every company is a data company. So we're all gathering data. And so what we do is we gather large volumes of data for our customers, and we use it to do predictive analytics and trend detection. So it's interesting, but humans, they're not really good at detecting trends. They think they are. But when we have large volumes of data, and we can run them through artificial intelligence algorithms and use machine learning reinforcement, we can use that to actually pull out some of these trends that aren't necessarily obvious to the users and the customers, and we could take them and we could build new products and new offerings and services that they could sell.
That's great. So Source Meridian, tell us a little bit about your ideal type of client.
Right.
What they look like, because I know we've talked in the past about your core competencies, things you like to do.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Source Meridian, but what are your strengths? What types of companies do you work with?
Okay, so I would say about 80% of the customers that we work with are in the healthcare industry. But that just tends to be because they have these large volumes of content that we discussed. So it can be in the banking industry, can be in the publishing industry, but basically any customer who has large volumes of content. And then we can then take that and we can do all the things that I just discussed. We can do trend detection, new product development, and things like that.
Right, so what's interesting about your company, we've been working together obviously a little long here. In terms of the company, where is it located? What does it look like today in terms of geographic? Where is it located?
Okay, sure. So we're an international company. We're based here in the Philadelphia area, but we have offices in Europe and in Latin America as well. We have employees from 12 different countries. We're comprised mostly of data scientists and senior programmers, the best of the best, and we recruit them from all over the world to come work for us.
Right, and in terms of the type of client, are there any specific projects, maybe don't talk about the client name specific, but are there any projects right now that you're working on that you're really excited about?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of different. One of our customers, well, I mentioned them by name, is Purple Lab. They have more than 50 terabytes of content. And if you think about it, 20 years ago, when we went to hospitals or if you went to do a doctor's visit, mostly everything was stored manually. Well, these days, everything's stored digitally. And Purple Lab happens to have content from every piece of content, about 300 million people in the United States, longitudinal, over 10 years. Right. Every doctor's visit, every prescription that's been written, every x-ray, lab work. So, with that kind of content, we can do some really fun and interesting data analytics. And that's a pretty typical client for us.
So besides, I know you're chief data scientist, data science a big thing. What about blockchain? We were talking earlier about your activities in that area.
Yeah.
What do you see with blockchain? What are you doing in that space right now?
Yeah, blockchain is an emerging technology. I know when people think about blockchain, they often think about cryptocurrencies, but that's obviously not it. Cryptocurrencies happens to be one application of blockchain. But with blockchain, you can build an immutable ledger of very secure and distributed data. And it's a fantastic technology because it's basically a distributed database that lets us provide a way to maintain a ledger of content and provide accessibility and immutability for the customers.
That's great. So thanks a lot for coming, Mike. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to just getting to know you better over the next period of time here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Mike, for putting on this great event. Really, really excited to be here. So my name is Michael Pushkar. I'm the co-founder of Source Meridian. I'm also the chief data scientist. So Source Meridian is a software development group. It's based here in the Philly suburbs to be able to classify content into specific taxonomies. There's things out there like mesh. If anybody works in the healthcare industry, they'll know what mesh is. There's a lot of publicly available data that someone can just go out there and crawl and download and set up and start using for training data. It's all out there.
That's great. Does anybody have any? Hi, my name is Michael Bertoni. I'm the founder and CTO of Philly Tech, and it's great to be here. It is the Philly Tech Week launch party, pre-launch. Philly Tech Week starts on May 3rd in a few days. And I'm here with Jeffrey Paul, co-founder and GM of Visiotag. So Jeffrey, tell me a little bit about Visiotag, what the technology is, and just a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you. Well, first of all, Michael, thank you for having us here. Very excited to be part of this pre-launch party. A lot of great tech companies in the Philly area, and for us to be invited down, it's a real honor. Thank you. So Visiotag is a very exciting online offering that helps people get additional value out of their online video. Online video has just been exploding the last 5 or 6 years, and people need a set of tools to help them make it navigable and searchable and really make sure that the video is working for them.
Right.
And we're so honored to be helping solve those particular problems for our clients.
So tell us a little bit about some of the challenges your clients face, right? And tell us a little bit about the history of the technology, because we've worked together a little bit over the last few weeks, and I know there's some legacy things here. So tell us a little bit about the legacy, because people like to understand about that, and the challenges clients face.
Well, it's funny. People say necessity is the mother of invention. So the original versions of Visiotag actually came out of the disasters of the 9/11 attacks. Our co-founder, Steve, was delivering training, on-site training for a very large pharmaceutical company to train their managers. And I don't know if you remember back to those terrible weeks after the attacks, it was not clear that people were going to be able to travel to arrive at a destination to take the training. So he was presented with an immediate challenge to take the classroom training that's being done, make it available for their employees all over the world to take it. And there were very long classroom videos were done. So it was required that Steve create a ability to click around inside the video and get to the part of it that you want to get to, and get past things that are not important. So he invented the first version of Visiotag.
Nice.
Yes.
So my understanding from the technology is that, any video of any sort, YouTube, any Vimeo, any video, you could essentially tag it into sections, right? Correct. So if a video is an hour long, 2 hours long, you could create an outline essentially for the technology. So tell me a little bit about the existing technology stack right now and where you think it's going in the future.
Oh, that's good. Well, first of all, we get a lot of good feedback from our clients on what they like, what they don't like, what they're looking for. And we have the paradigm of building a table of contents around any kind of a video around it, and that seems to work because people can click on the concepts that are being discussed, and that's it. I think going forward, we're going to see expanded use of mobile, almost exclusively. And then we're going to see some integration with some artificial intelligence so that building the table of contents could be done automatically. Right now it's a manual process, but I see inclusion of AI concepts into it in our very near future.
Great. So what do you think the market looks like? So, we had chatted about this. Who is your target client for this technology, and what's the value for them? What's the value proposition for them?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Our clients are video-savvy organizations, sales training, corporate sales training, any kind of learning, partner training, and these people have made the big investment in getting really beautiful videos built, and that takes a lot of management time, takes a lot of money, and there's a lot of emotional investment in getting a really good video library built. And what they find is that if it's too long, their employees don't use it. So it becomes an underperforming asset for them. So for them, in order to make the videos more engaging and the employees and the partners actually use that more, to have the ability for them to control the experience, to take any kind of video and make it an interactive video, that's our best client.
Great. And is there any particular type of market segment you're trying to approach into? I know that from talking with you, there was legacy clients that you worked with in the past. Is there any markets? Are you looking at pharmaceuticals? Are you looking at retail? Are you looking at particular areas?
Pharmaceuticals is really good for us. In particular, our infrastructure, we can tell the client who's watched the video, who's watched the parts of the video, and how often they've done it. And then when their students have finished with the videos, we can update their learning management system. So in the pharma training world, that's really, really powerful so that they stay in compliance with all FDA regulations.
So give me an understanding. So say a client has an existing LMS, right? And they have, 1,000 hours of video content in there. It's all over the place. How would you work with that client through an engagement?
Right.
And again, how would things work in terms of Visiotech?
Well, the beauty of working with a small organization, and we're small but we're powerful, is that we like to sell the way people like to buy. So once we have our executive sponsor, we work with them on what's their pain points, and we'll put together a series of projects based upon what they see their immediate need is. Right. And we'll train them. We can give them a secure version of the product so it can run behind their firewall, so all of their intellectual property stays secure. And then we can work with them to train their team how to build the table of contents. If they want to outsource the whole thing to us, we have professional services, and we'll actually deliver them a final product.
Right. So one question that I have that I think everybody needs to understand is, what is it increasing productivity of that organization? Is there any increased revenue potential with this technology? So explain to the audience the value proposition for, so somebody tags your videos, what does that mean for their company in terms of the value for that company?
Well, for the company, a lot of intrinsic value of the organizations are caught up in their videos. But if it's not captured, if it's not put into work for it, it's all lost. If you can't leverage it for it. If the sales rep at the remote office doesn't know about a particular new feature or a new policy or things like that, they're not going to be operating at peak performance. If all of their videos are tagged with the table of contents, the employee and the partner and the customer can find the piece of information they're looking for much faster.
Right. Right. Okay, great. Well, it was great speaking with you, Jeff. I'm looking forward to getting to know you a lot better tonight. And, good luck with Visiotech.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. First of all, I'd just like to recognize Craig DoVidio. He's a Visiotech person. I'm from New York. That's where our company's headquartered. Craig is located here in Philadelphia, and he's helped us out on a bunch of events. And at the last minute, he agreed to come tonight. So I'd just like to recognize him and give him a round of applause. So, Craig. Great. So I'm the co-founder of a company. It's a software service that takes any kind of streaming media and allows you to build a table of contents. You can put a PowerPoint slide along with it, or an image, or a link to an image, things like that. You know, so very flexible that way. Any kind of supporting information. Let's go on. That's it. So if there's anybody in the room tonight, happy to give you a free Visiotech account for your personal use. If you use it for commercial things, I'd like you to pay for it. We're also sponsoring, make sure that you get your card in the black bucket up front. We're giving away a Amazon Fire Stick to somebody at the end of the presentation tonight. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
So we're back. This is Michael Bertoni at the Philly Tech Week pre-launch party. Really, really excited to be here. I am speaking with someone I knew from way back in the days of Yellow Book. Has anybody ever heard of this business, Yellow Book? His name is Rich Gallagher. He is the Chief Product Officer at Energage. How you doing today?
Great, Mike.
Good.
See you.
Good. Yeah, it's the business. You know, we were talking earlier of Energage and what you're doing. It's extremely exciting. I mean, so tell the audience what Energage does and really what their value proposition is for the client.
Absolutely. So we're a technology company with a particular focus. You know, being a B Corp, we're a mission-driven company, and our mission really is to help companies assess and actually achieve the culture that they desire, one that particularly aligns with the ultimate performance of their company and their objectives.
Nice. So what does that mean in terms of that? So give us some use cases, maybe
Right.
some examples
Sure.
of how your platform helps a client.
Sure, but first you have to understand that in today's particularly tech landscape, so much of what happens is commoditized, right? Infrastructure is commoditized, various technology elements are commoditized. Companies are today looking for every competitive advantage. And when it boils down, in many ways, the culture of a company represents the last remaining strategic competitive advantage. And we're helping companies make sure that they're competitive on that advantage. And so we understand, you know, we've been in business now, so we're not a new business, we're an experienced business who really understands this particular problem space well. And what we're doing is we're helping companies by applying the experience that we have, the science and both the technology experience we have, we're helping companies in a platform way tap into the greater potential of their employees by helping them improve their culture. And so if you think of today an employee experience over the life cycle of their relationship with a company, we can tap into those points of engagement that exist through that life cycle and optimize that engagement for both the employee and the company to maximize that employee's potential.
Yeah, so we were talking earlier about the amount of data that you guys have. It's pretty exciting. I don't know if you could reveal it or what you can reveal, but pretty exciting stuff. What type of data do you have access to? I know you were founded in 2006, right? So you've been working with a lot of companies. I think you said like 50,000 companies. What type of data, describe to the audience, I think it's pretty exciting, the type of data you have and the possibilities with that data.
One of the absolute values of being in this business for more than 10 years and actually being the enabler of the Top Workplaces program nationally is we've been able to get inside of more than 50,000 companies. You know, more than 20 million employees have participated in that program over the past 10 years. That's given us incredible insights about not just the critical drivers of culture, right, and culture improvement, but also the activities that companies go on as they progress down their paths of culture enlightenment, for lack of a better way of saying it. And so we can take that experience in the form of data and create incredibly strong predictive models for what companies can and should do in order to facilitate their path to the culture that they want.
Yeah, so are there any particular challenges, you know, what are the main challenges that you see the client facing? You know, so when they come to you initially and they have these types of challenges, what are those challenges that they're dealing with where your platform can help them?
Right. This is a new area of focus for many businesses. So one, we have to help educate the business of what this is all about, how they can, one, understand it, two, how they can actually tap into it in constructive ways. So one is education, and two is getting them to see the relevance for their business. So in most cases, businesses that are willing to open their mind to it, our assessment process itself is for the most part the step in what in many cases is a very long relationship with customers, because we can show them what they aren't necessarily able to see themselves. And so we've been taking that approach, assembling all of the capabilities that we've amassed over the last 10 years of operating, bring those together in more intelligent ways, right? So bringing them into a more integrated platform experience.
Right.
And now we're starting to invoke a lot more sophistication, applying the data that we've accumulated to allow that platform itself to be much more relevant and responsive to that individual company's needs. And so most companies today, if they're willing to open themselves up to that level of assessment, usually see the value of our products and services.
That's great. So it's great talking with you, Rich, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you better in upcoming weeks and long term here.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Take care.
So hello, hey, it's great to be here. I'm from a company called Energage. We've got offices in Philadelphia and Exton, PA. We're not a new company, but we're in a company that is absolutely in a perpetual state of growth and innovation. And we land in a segment that today is considered to be an emerging segment called culture technology. Think of it as falling within the broader, more established HR tech marketplace and landscape.
We're back. This is Michael Bertoni, founder and CTO of Philly Tech. We're here at the Philly Tech Week pre-launch party, and I am here with Lizzie Platt. She is the CEO, COO for Legal Science. Great to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great. So tell us a little bit about your company, Legal Science. What do you do, and what type of customers do you work with?
Yeah, so we're in the business of policy tracking. So we have software that helps people track policies. If you're a company that needs to keep track of a bunch of laws in different states or over time, research organizations, advocacy organizations, then we help you do that with either our software if you want to do it in-house, and we have a team of lawyers that can help you out and do that for you.
So what type of clients do you work with? So I know we've talked in the past. What's your typical type of client? What do they look like? And tell the audience.
Yeah, we work with research organizations, typically policy shops. We started out doing public health law primarily. With the opioid crisis, there are a lot of different fast-changing laws to track. So we've worked with government organizations, NIDA, to keep track of these laws. But now we're seeing that there's a lot of organizations out there that come across many different laws, need to keep track of them. So we work with trade associations now and companies like Uber or Airbnb that operate in a bunch of different states and need to keep track of a bunch of different things, because we're finding that they don't necessarily have that sort of either in-house expertise or are using basically an Excel sheet to keep everything all organized.
Yeah, and that was my next question. So I think your platform, your main platform is called Monocle, right? So tell us a little bit about what the client's doing. So there are a lot of clients using spreadsheets, and what does your solution do to help them to automate the activities they're doing?
So we're helping you keep track of things, keep it organized, and one of the downsides of Excel is when you need to go and update some of these areas of law that change rapidly, you kind of have to recreate the sheet. So our system uses machine learning. So anytime a lawyer, whether it be one of our lawyers or the people inputting the information from the companies, tags or highlights a part of the law, it's teaching the system to recognize this part of law with a specific element that's being tracked by that company. So it's teaching the system to associate these phrases of law to speed up the process. That's where we're going with this.
That's great. So I know just from us talking in the past that you just got promoted, right? So congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about what you were doing, what you're doing now, and what are your challenges now that you're CEO and COO of Legal Science?
Yeah, so I was a lawyer with the company. I led the legal team and was in charge of all the individual projects. So it was a lot of organizing the different projects that were coming in, making sure they got finished on time, a lot of operations stuff. And so that kind of led seamlessly into this CEO job where we just really needed a bunch of organization and a bunch of management of the different parts going on. We have a bunch of different type of clients using us, so we need to keep track of a bunch of different moving parts and moving pieces. So that was kind of my strength.
Yeah, so one of the things I think the audience would be really would like to understand is, I think you, in terms of getting funding, like a lot of
Yeah.
clients have to get funded, and I think just from our conversation in the past, you get grants. Now, grants many times is something that, what is grants? How does that work? How do you get grants? So
Yeah.
could you tell the audience a little bit about that?
Sure. So when we started out, we were actually a part of Temple University doing policy surveillance, which is a systematic process to do this policy tracking. And we found that we needed sort of an upgraded software solution to help us do this quicker and faster. So we were able to take our background knowledge of public health and the opioid crisis and that type of research and apply for a grant with NIDA and SBIR to fund small business innovative research and produce PDAPS, the Prescription Drug Abuse Policy System. So we got funding for an SBIR to do that and really just grew from there. We were able to get, NIDA supported us to sort of expand our research with this software tool to help do this policy tracking, but to use it to help in the opioid crisis.
Yeah. What I was very interested in, how do you even know if you could get grants for your company? Is there some do you have to be qualified, or is like, how do you even know if you can apply to grants?
Yeah, there's a lot of resources, tools online. FedBizOps is a great place to start, where they list all the available things. You can even go to the states and look and see if they have individual funding opportunities. We recently were applying for one in like California, just looking for the different opportunities that are out there. It's a lot of researching to just find what fits for you, but there are a lot of sources out there to help.
So in terms of legal science, where you're going, so, coming right on board now, I'm sure you're needing to put the projections together.
Oh, yeah.
1 year, what's happening, Lizzie, in the next 5 years? So
Right.
tell us where you're going from here.
Well, for me, it's finding out what I'm doing in the next week or the next day at this point. It's been a pretty quick process to get up to speed, but one of the things that we're looking at is really ramping up our machine learning so that we can improve updating. We recently applied for another funding opportunity to make the bill tracking technology. A lot of companies out there do bill tracking, so we want to tie that into what we're already doing with our policy tracking for statutes. So try to make our software even more helpful.
A little pivot.
Yes.
Maybe a little pivot.
Little bit.
Nice, I like
Yeah.
that. So great, it was great talking to you, Lizzie,
Thank you.
and I'm looking forward to getting to know you better.
Great, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Hi. So I am the middle of the road presentation in between the beginning presentations and the end, and I'm about to talk about law. So bear with me. Instead, let's talk about something I like, wine. So how many people here have been to Napa? Yeah. How many here have been to Lodi, California? Anybody? Go to Lodi. It is like a hidden gem, so much less expensive than Napa. But that one you got to be on because there's constantly like regulations coming up and everything. So it depends on what the client wants to do, how frequently. I will say that we are looking to coordinate and get some funding to associate bill tracking so that you can kind of be alerted when something's coming down the pipe and likely to be passed and this affects one of your laws. So that way you can be notified. Yeah. Yep.
That the bill's going up. That the bill's going up.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to tell you a little bit about myself first and kind of how I got to where I am today, and then I'll talk a little bit about what this threshold.world thing is. In the early 2000s was in banking tech, and started a company. I was a junior partner in the firm, had 2%, and in about 5 years later I was driving 6%. Customers were over 100 million a year in revenue. They need infrastructure. They need AI. They need AI strategies too, right? And they have thousands of employees that deserve to use the right employee engagement tools, right? So, yeah. Do I expect to be a bajillionaire as a result of this? No, I would absolutely have a faster path to go make more money to go work with banks. I did that already. So, all right. Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks.
thank you very
Thanks.
much. Hi, we're back. This is Michael Bertoni, founder and CTO of Philly Tech. Thanks a lot. We're here at the Philly Tech Week pre-launch party, and I wanted to introduce you to a colleague of mine, great friend, principal at Blind Spot Strategy, Alan Krauss. Alan, great to see you again.
You too?
Yeah, I've been working with Alan for a while. You know, he's actually been a coach of mine. I've been coaching him on some sales and marketing things. He's been coaching me. It's been phenomenal. Love working with Alan. But Alan, tell us a little bit about Blind Spot Strategy. You know, what's your business all about and what type of clients do you work with?
Thanks, Mike. I've been working with early stage companies in the tech field, usually some life science, but more usually in the tech, helping them figure out funding strategy, business strategy, and how the two connect so that you're moving forward with a plan that works for your business.
So Alan, I know the name, right? We Blind Spot Strategy, right? So obviously there's something to this name. People love to hear about that sort of thing. So tell us about Blind Spot Strategy. How'd you come up with the name?
Thanks. Yeah, so for 18 years I was working at Ben Franklin Technology Partners. I was running the investment portfolio for the IT group and did maybe 130 company investments and 200 investments in them. So some got 2, 3, 4 investments. And so I was seeing a lot of companies doing a lot of things right and not seeing what they weren't watching that turned out to cause problems down the line. I was seeing applicants who were missing 1 or 2 or 3 things, just hadn't thought through how their business would work. If it wasn't a big enough opportunity, how could you be looking for $2 million? Or if their personality was great for sales, it might not be great for making sure their employees were happy or whatever. So the blind spots that they wouldn't have thought about, obviously, were causing problems. And I just was kind of watching all these and thought I could help companies find them ahead of time.
Nice. So what does your, so you're working with Ben Franklin for many years, 14 years or so, and now you started your own shingle, right? It's great. What does your ideal client look like today at Blind Spot Strategy?
Yeah, so my ideal client has an ability to pay something, right? So in general, I think that includes some angel money or friends and family money, but it could be growth, internal organic growth that they realize they need some support to take it to the next level. And I'm willing to work and I can be flexible in a variety of different ways with companies, but in general, a company has some resources, they have made some progress, and my help can help them get to bigger angel investing, talking to their current friends and family about asking for more, figuring out grants, figuring out whether bootstrapping is really the right approach. It's more the strategic way of looking at it.
So I remember when we met Alan way back, great story, real quick story on Alan. So first time I met with Alan, it was great. He got right to the point in terms of, Mike, I think you could fix this, right? And I really appreciate that because I'm a very straightforward, very direct person myself. So that's, Alan and I connected. It was phenomenal. But tell me, Alan, what is your value to your client, do you think? In terms of the services you offer, what are the 2 or 3 things that you bring to the table that really helps that client succeed?
So I think a lot of companies have advisors that are only telling them what they want to hear. And employees, they've all drank the Kool-Aid. I have a lot of experience, both positive, negative, seeing things going forward. They're going to get an independent, objective opinion and somebody who's really going to communicate my truth. May or not be correct, but it's going to be my truth.
Right.
And that's one. Number 2, I'm told I ask really good questions, tough questions, helping them think through what they need to know and do ahead of time.
Right.
And I think 3, I have a network that's really strong for service providers, investors, technology people, whatever that may be, to try to support them with expertise that I might not have myself.
Well, that's great. Thanks a lot, Alan Krauss, for coming, Alan, and have a great time at the event.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you for sticking through all this. I'm going to try to go probably even faster than this, and I'll just be available and email me or do whatever. But do we have my slides?
You can keep going. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, where are we? No, I'm going the wrong way. What's going on here? Is that people follow them like a Pied Piper because they sound like they really know everything they're doing. What's bad about it is investors may get turned off about it. So each one of these things that may work for you in one component may have a challenge for you in another. And figuring out the blind spots, I believe really strongly, is you want to make sure you have people around you that will tell you the truth, or at least their version, and then you can analyze it. And having good trusted advisors helps with that as well.
We're back. This is Michael Bertoni, founder and CTO of Philly Tech. It's really great to be here. This is the Philly Tech Week pre-launch party, and I have a really special guest with me. This is Lisa Simon. She is the founder of Therapy for Success. It's great to see you, Lisa.
Thanks, Mike. Nice to be here.
Yeah, so Lisa, tell us a little bit about your business and what you do.
I own and operate a private practice specializing in treating eating disorders, food and weight addiction, disease, body image issues, concerns with exercise and food, women's health predominantly, but we also serve the male population.
Great. So tell us some of the things that you're dealing with as a business right now when it comes to technology. Are you looking for people? What type of technology solutions do you use internally?
Great question, Mike. We're using and looking for software to manage our business internally for our clients, since we are a paperless company, for billing, for charting, for financial stuff. And we're not really satisfied actually with our software, so we're looking for new software. We're also looking to recruit new staff and new employees and new interns. So we're looking for assistance for that in that world and services.
So yeah, we were talking a little bit about what you do, and it's really, really exciting. So tell us a little bit about the challenges when women and men walk into your office. What are the challenges they're dealing with, and how do you help them?
I think the first thing is just their fear of coming to therapy. But their biggest challenge usually is psychological issues pertaining to the eating disorder world or food and weight disease and addiction. And we use a cognitive behavioral therapy approach, among others, and other theories, to treat and challenge the negative behaviors, thoughts, feelings, and we give positive coping skills and strategies and treatment plans to try to combat the disorders and diseases that are negatively hurting them.
Okay. So you said you were looking for somebody, I guess, a new employee. Can you give the audience, let the audience know what does that employee typically look like? You know, maybe the audience can help you in terms of finding your next therapist, but what do they typically look like in terms of age, in terms of, you know, what they're doing today?
Since we're growing and we're expanding, we're so excited, so we're looking for more staff. We predominantly hire women, as there are more women in the field, more young women that are connecting to our population, which is usually high school to 30s and 40-year-olds that are excited and new in the field and wanting to kind of dig their feet in and do the work, but also have the experience with a graduate degree, a license in the field, and have experience, but also wanting to learn in a small boutique practice.
Great. So it's been great talking to you today, Lisa, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know you better. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.
So I wanted to briefly just go through the agenda and kind of talk about what we're going to be doing. So everybody has enjoyed the networking and free food and beer, right? Has everybody enjoyed that? Okay, great. Has everybody been making connections, getting business cards? Has everybody been doing that? So that's obviously one of the things I try to do at my meetups is make sure there's ample time for networking with other people. So kind of quickly just going through the agenda. We're going to cover, I'm going to cover as best I can for you guys what's going on during Philly Tech Week, right? So I'm going to bring up all the events. I'm going to talk about the events that I think are great to go to. Unfortunately, a few events are sold out already, so I'll tell you about that as well. So I'll tell you all about Philly Tech Week. It goes from basically Friday, starting Friday, all the way to the following Sunday. So then we're going to have tech speakers in good rapid order, in rapid, like probably 10 to 20 minute speeches. And all of these folks are technologists, software companies, technology companies. So we're going to have Michael Pushkar, the co-founder and chief data scientist for Source Meridian. He's going to be talking about obviously data science and machine learning and artificial intelligence, things of that nature. Then we're going to have Jeff Paul. So one thing I wanted to first to mention, everybody, I think if everybody saw the message I sent, if you did not, this whole entire thing is being Visio tagged, right? You're being Visio tagged right now. No, you're not. So this whole thing is being Visio tagged, and what that means is this is being videoed, and their technology, really simple to understand. If you watch a YouTube video and it's like an hour long, how do you know where to go 10 minutes ahead to the next speaker, to the next person, to the next thing? They have the ability to have you tag the individual parts of the video so you can go right to it, right? So everybody's going to get access. So once we do all the tagging and everything, I'm going to send it to everybody out through the meetup. So everybody has the video of everything here. And we also did a bunch of founder 3 to 5 minute videos as well. So that's really exciting. So I wanted to make mention of that. Jeff Paul is here from Visio Tag. We got Rich Gallagher, Chief Product Officer for Energage. He's in the back. Energage is a great company, just doing a lot of really exciting things with increasing employee engagement, employee satisfaction internally. And he's going to talk more about that. We have she goes by Lizzie. You can call her Elizabeth, and then maybe when you get to know her, you can call her Lizzie. But her name's Lizzie Platt, and she was just promoted to be CEO, COO of Legal Science. And she's here, and Legal Science is a really cool company doing a lot of things with policy automation. And Dan Lamont, cool company here, Threshold.world. He is going to give you the best minimalist presentation you've ever seen in your life. It's great. So he's launching the company, and a colleague of mine just accepted an offer with him, and a really exciting company. He's going to tell you more about that. And then Alan Krauss, he is the principal of Blind Spot Strategy. He's going to speak, and he is all about more of a focus on helping you get funded, learning about strategy around funding. Also does coaching for software and technology companies. And then I'm gonna end things off with a short presentation. All right. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but so I'm not going to read all this. So I'm just really excited to be here. So I've been involved in technology for over 20 years. My specialization is really working with startups, whether they're self-funded or funded somehow or venture-backed. And I really focus in two areas around engineering, engineering development and sales. And I'm all about giving back and helping people, right? So my biggest motto is always you got to give to get, right? So you got to give value. If you give value to people, usually it comes back and they give to you. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I didn't want to read it off, but so we're going to start things off here with me reviewing what's going on. I'm going to go through this with you at Philly Tech Week. So is everybody aware of Philly Tech Week? Is everybody aware of what Philly Tech Week is? You guys aren't aware of it? You're not aware? Where are you from?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So Philly Tech Week is a week-long celebration of tech. It's the biggest week of tech in Philly, right? It's really exciting, and it goes from the 3rd to the 11th, and there's a lot of events, right? So this is just high level, and then I'm going to go in and show you the website. So it's managed and run by a company called Technically, right? So Technically, there's basically one company. It's kind of amazing. We should all get together and start another company there's one company that handles software media in Philadelphia, right? So basically covers, if you're in Silicon Valley, there's more than one company that covers software, right? There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
We have one. It's technically, right? So get to know them. They're great. And then we'll talk about the major sponsors. There's 101 events. There's 69 events on Eventbrite, and separated into 7 tracks, right, that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. So I just I'll touch on this first, and then I'll show you the websites and things like that. But these are the events. It looks like everybody's taking notes. That's very good. I appreciate taking good notes. No, I'm just kidding. So Philly Tech Week is amazing. There's a lot of free events. And, so there's a kickoff festival. It's free. It's on Friday. I highly recommend going to that. And then there's an after party, free after party. You can't beat a free after party, and basically on Nerd Street down in Old City. And then Saturday there's a couple really good events, right? A science carnival, right? There's an awards ceremony. These are all free events, right? Where you could do things like this and network. The Entrepreneurial Expo. That's one of the better ones. There's going to be a lot of people at the Entrepreneurial Expo, a lot of software companies, a lot of technology companies. So again, that is 4 to 8. That's free. Yeah, you have a dev conference. Some of these are paid. The dev conference seems pretty reasonable for, what's going on. Basically, it's all-day development conference. Learning about prototyping and development. That goes on all day. It's $18 to $75. Then there is another happy hour on Wednesday that's free, right? So free happy hours are really good. And then there are a couple more. There's probably one of the more pricey event. It's called Introduced. So technically has put together this event that, around technology, so very, very good event. I think you should check it out. It is Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there's some costs involved, but I think you could still get in there for free. And then there is, do we have women in the audience? There's a lot of women that do yoga, right? I don't know if guys do yoga. Are there people who do yoga? So guys, I was just joking. I'm just joking. So there's a lot of people that do yoga. I actually do yoga, and it's great. No, I do. And you should check out at the Naval Shipyard the yoga. It'd be great to do that and network. And then there's a signature event that unfortunately is sold out. But it's the last event. It's really too bad that it's sold out, but it's at the Comcast Center. All right. So I'm going to show you the websites real quick.
You can get in with a ticket with Introduced.
Oh, you can?
So somebody introduces you, or how does that work?
No, if you pay for the Introduced fund technically, you can get a combined ticket to get into the signature.
Yeah. So if you want to.
I'll call you.
If you want to go, obviously you can take out your phone, you can check this out as you're looking at it. But so this is the main, and everybody's going to get this presentation, so you can go back here. But this is the main site for Philly Tech Week, and basically you want to click here to go register for events, and then you also have. There was 101 yesterday, now there's 102 events. So these are the two main links. Right, so I am going to go to the register for events on the meetup. So, I'm sorry, not the meetup, Eventbrite. So there is basically everything's done through Eventbrite, and if you look through here, it says that there's 69 total live events, right? And if you go back and show the ones that I recommended. But I highly recommend that you go through this link and check it out. A lot of these events are free, right? And they're great. There's a lot of great events here. So you want to check that out. So the other thing so in terms of all the events, so you can get a complete snapshot of all the events from this link here, right? So you see all, right? And then you could go through dev, you can go through dev track, creative, civic, right? You can go to all the different events, but there is a lot of events. So I highly recommend that you take a few minutes and just check these events out, because the majority of them are free. And, you know, it's just celebrating tech and in our city, right? Okay. All right, so yeah, that is it. I was going to get into the way the tech was set up here. Does anybody have any questions at all? Again, I'm going to get this presentation out to everybody, but these are the events that I recommend. I apologize. Originally, I was going to try to go to each one of the links of this, but just the way the tech was set up here, I couldn't do that. So does anybody have any questions? So that concludes the first speaker. So okay, question?
All right, so I have a question. So I'm from Philly, but I spent a lot of time on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So on the West Coast, we had a team, and how we would canvas network events that we would do, we would have a shared database. So then that way, you know, we can upload massive amounts of contacts
Sure.
into one database. Does Philly have anything like that as far as a network, like what you said, like with
Yeah.
that company? Is there groups that
Mm-hmm.
go and kind of work together, and it's like a war strategy. It's like where different people are at different places, but all on the same kind
Yeah.
of.
So actually, the last presentation that I'm doing, I'm actually going through all the free resources that are offered for Philly Tech. It's the last presentation, right? So I'm going through the meetups, the Slack channels, all of the things, all the sites, all the places you can go to learn more and get involved in groups. So if I understand your question, you know, there's meetups. There's the biggest meetup there.
I think you're onto it, and I thank you for it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're ahead, but I mean, boots on the ground, as
Okay.
far as like, you're there, and then everybody's like, okay, this is my data, this is my data, this is my data, and we upload it, and we have this shared database.
Can anyone help here? I mean, I know there is this one site where I can't remember the name of it right now, but it aggregates all of these different companies in Philadelphia Tech. Is anybody aware of this site? I know it's like there's all sorts of different companies. You could post events there, but I'm not sure. Can anybody help at all? I'm not sure if I can answer his question, if we have that specifically.
What's the question?
Like a database that we all aggregate our data to, about that we share data.
Besides meetup? Like a Google Share Doc or something, or?
See, this is the thing, right? It's like this. What I'm saying is, it's always better to work as a group than as an individual. So if you could, it's going to be hard. I know I have other things to do other than just go to all these network events. You know, just, I'm not trying to be rude. I would love to, but there's no way, because I have a life and I have other things. We all do.
Yeah, we can't go to everything. I understand kind of what he's saying. It'd be nice to know who's going to all these events.
Somebody, and we work as a group. Listen, how about this? If anybody wants to do it, you know, once they're done, I'm going to be here. We can all meet up, and I'll show you how we did it in the West Coast. And it produced a wealth of information. And what it does is enable, it's called cloning. I learned it from political people that work for political campaigns. And when a senator can't be somewhere, they'll send out one of their minions, and they be there without being there. So the same strategy is a war strategy. It really is. It's recon.
Just like meeting minutes? Like there's a meeting.
Yeah, so if one person goes to the event, then they share the data,
Boom,
maybe?
we all come together,
Yeah.
you know, and
Hey, I'm open to ideas.
anybody that want to do that, you know, let's exchange contacts. I know how to do it. I've done it before. And then that way we'll really maximize this week, and walk out of here with it all comes down to data. Knowledge is power. So we can get a lot of knowledge, resources out of it, and without having to be at all the events.
Great idea. My name is Rick. Just a simple thing that we could just do today without much investment. On LinkedIn, is everyone aware that you can say who is nearby? If you turn on your LinkedIn app and press the little guys at the bottom of the screen, you can see who else is in the room by turning on Find Nearby.
Oh, wow. Didn't
And
know
then we
that.
can all connect.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful tool. Please try it. You press the little guys at the bottom on LinkedIn app.
I don't do LinkedIn.
Okay. So it's,
Okay.
so-
Hey, so does anybody else have any questions? Any other questions? Okay.
I have a macro question about like Philly Tech Week as a distinguisher among other competitor cities. I work in city government and
Right.
workforce and economic development. I'm curious about how unique a tech week that it seems to me like a very robust tech week. I've been tracking it for a while, but
Right.
I don't have any knowledge about how this distinguishes us from other American cities. Like I know other cities have tech week, but
Yeah.
I don't know how important it is in establishing like our brand as an innovation environment, et cetera. Can you speak to that?
Austin, South by Southwest.
Yeah.
It's definitely behind
that's a
San
whole other piece,
Francisco.
but, like,
Well, all I know is I think it's the 8th year. It's like, and it's growing every year, right? And there's actually, I'm gonna again show on free resources at the end. Is anybody familiar with who PACT is? Philadelphia Alliance for Capital and Technology, right? So they have a great paper. It's just a great paper that they put out. It's a free paper. You could check it out. You go to PACT and basically go to their resources. I'm going to show you everybody that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a great question. I think it's at a macro level. I think Philly is right up there. I mean, this article by PACT says that we're one of the top places to invest for, health tech, healthcare, certain areas, but maybe not other areas, right? So yeah, I mean, if you want to do a little bit of research on that, get it to me. I'll get it to everybody here. I mean, if you'd like to do that. It is 9:30 and we are breaking the record for the longest meetup. We're going to call Guinness. But does anybody have any questions? Seriously, Alan, great presentation, a lot of value here. And I'm just going to go through this last thing in like 3 minutes, just free resources. I just put it together. So Alan, thanks. So I'm going to go through this real quick. And again, really appreciate everybody coming to this today. So, I mean, in terms of what I do, I think of myself as really an expert in Philly when it comes to tech. And what I did was, if you are trying to get into tech or you're in tech and you're trying to expand in tech, these are the places you need to go to as soon as possible, right, and check out. Most people know about these, some people don't. Philadelphia's Startup Leaders is probably the largest single hub for technology in Philadelphia. Alan Krauss could probably answer when it started. It's been a long time ago. It started like 4 or 5 guys like in Philly. I don't know what year it started. Chris Sarah and these guys. It's been around. It's got a listserv, right? It's got a Slack channel. Listserv is, if you guys know what that is, Google listserv. It's got a Slack community. So the other one is PACT, right? I was going to do a demo of PACT. I absolutely check out this website. There's a couple papers on here that explain how Philadelphia is one of the best areas in the country for investing, right? A lot of people say Philly sucks about investing. It's terrible. And then you see these articles about healthcare and biotech in these areas. Getting investment is, I think, all kind of what you make it, right? If you want to get investment really badly, you'll get it, right? You just need to be talking to the right people, right? That's my feeling. A lot of people are talking to the wrong people when it comes to investing, right? So Philly Tech Guide, right? Another great site actually put together by Philadelphia Startup Leaders. It has basically the top tech companies. I was going to do another presentation that talked about the top 50 tech companies in Philadelphia that I do. right? A lot of those companies are like on phillytechguide.com. There's a Philly Dev community Slack channel. You know, these are the places, Alex, that, you know, these communities I hit when, you know, when I'm helping clients find resources. I mean, I'm generally attacking these communities, right? Because this is where these people live and where they work. Technically Media, again, we have one source of tech media and software media in Philly. It's technically one, right? It's amazing. You know, maybe Dan should start another one or something. We just need another, no, probably. He's busy. Sorry for the nonprofit. So these are the meetups that I like. You know, obviously I like my meetup. Philly New Tech Meetup, it's the biggest meetup. You know, there's probably 250 to 300 people at each one of their meetups every month. Bootstrappers Breakfast, if you have a software or technology, or you just want to see people do pitches. Basically, these guys are doing pitches, and they're doing it all over Philadelphia. There's one in Delaware, there's one in Princeton. Basically, you just go and you could learn, like, you know, how to do pitches. First Round Capital. Has anybody heard of First Round Capital before? First Round Capital is probably the best Series A investing company in the world, and they're based in University City, and they have a phenomenal database on here of news. Like if you want to check out the latest news, aggregated news on anything tech, go there. These last ones are probably the most important, one of the most important guys, AngelList. Has anybody been on AngelList before? Okay. So if you want to get into the startup world and work for startup companies, right, you go to AngelList, you type in Philadelphia startups, and like 150 companies will come up, and it'll be jobs, it'll be tell you what's happening. So go to AngelList. Every startup, I was just talking with my partner Mike Pushkar about this today, every startup needs to have a great Crunchbase profile. Mike Pushkar told me this today, and talking to an investor about it, like you gotta have a really good Crunchbase profile. There's a lot of good data about startups in Crunchbase about like, so you're wondering, hey, Sidecar, who's their investor? Just go to Crunchbase and look up Sidecar and you'll know that it's, you know, a guy that's around my age named Mike something. He's like a billionaire, he worked for GSI Commerce. You know, he's 45 years old and he's a multi-billionaire. Right, you know, he's one of the richest guys in the Philadelphia area. Does anyone know his last name? Michael something. He's pretty much the second richest person in the Philadelphia area outside the woman that owns Campbell's Soup. He started GSI Commerce. Now, this, startup school. Okay, this, you have to go here, guys. Basically, Y Combinator, has everybody heard of Y Combinator? Okay. Y Combinator put their whole entire educational way they train their startups online that you can view. It's like 50 videos of how to build product, how to do marketing, how to recruit, how to do everything, right? It's amazing. They actually have a startup school, all the videos are on YouTube. They're amazing. They updated them. You know, if you're building a product, you gotta go there and check it out, right? Dream Ventures, they're local. Right, again, these guys are a tier 1 incubator, and I forgot to put Techstars on here. Techstars just moved into Comcast, right? So basically we have a tier 1 incubator in Philly called Techstars that is part of Comcast right now. Dream It, you know, I love Dream It. You know, they're most likely like a tier 2 incubator, but very good incubator. They actually referred me one of my best clients last year. I mean, so I'm very, very happy they're one of my partners. Now, the last thing I wanted to say is everybody need to hire people? People need to hire people? Okay, hire people. All right, this system here I use for my clients, and it's completely free enterprise, you know, completely free, no catches, completely free enterprise ATS. You can post up to 10 jobs for free forever. The thing when you're getting a free applicant tracking system, and you're like, oh, I got an applicant tracking system, like Rich will be like, yeah, I have one of those, or we have one of those, but the key is, does it aggregate? When you post a job to a job board, right? You have a job board, yeah, we got a job board. When you post the job to this job board, it posts it to 30 job boards, Indeed, LinkedIn, all the job boards for free, right? So it's completely free. It's amazing. You know, you get a lot of the people, and it allows you to actually also do hunting because it gives you a shortened link of the job as well that you can use to hunt people down and actually find those people for you. So that is it. Thank you everyone for coming. I really, really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, we'll be here.